Easy Explain Cartesianism, Meditations on First Philosophy, Preface, and First Meditation. So just like to start here by providing a preface of sorts, an introduction to the Meditations, just like Descartes himself does. So for context, the Meditations on First Philosophy, first published in 1641, and going along with this playlist, that's 4 years after his prior work, Discourse on the Method. So it is sort of a follow-up of sorts. You could even make the argument that this is a continuation of the same project, that this Meditations project is the conclusions and results of the method that he went through and outlined and started to get into in the Discourse. That's kind of where we are, right? This is just 4 years later. When we look at the actual preface to the Meditations that Descartes has and uses, he's dedicating this work largely to his colleagues, the administrators of Sorbonne University, right, the big French university. And he also is acknowledging and addressing the objections he's received over the last 4 years to his discourse. He's then going to set up a little introduction to the synopsis, right, of these meditations and how they're going to go, what you can expect, just like he did at the beginning of his discourse. And also, just like his discourse, the Meditations is going to take place across 6 parts. So the first of those parts, the first meditation, he gives it the subtitle of What Can Be Called Into Doubt. And that is largely 3 things, and I have them separated here by color. It's the senses, the disciplines which depend on the study of composite things, and opinions and previous assumptions. So let's just go one by one here. The first thing that you can doubt, your senses. I think this quote here sums it up well from the first meditation. From time to time I have found that the senses deceive, and it is prudent never to trust completely those who have deceived us even once. So essentially Descartes saying that we can doubt our senses because sometimes they deceive us. We can't always trust them. They're not always trustworthy. So if we know that we can be deceived by our senses at any point in time, then we shouldn't trust them completely. So the senses are the first thing that can be called into doubt. The second thing, disciplines which depend on the study of composite things. So this is a Cartesian term, and he goes on to kind of list what those are and what are these studies that we can doubt. So Descartes says, physics, astronomy, medicine, and all other disciplines which depend on the study of composite things are doubtful, while arithmetic, geometry, and other subjects of this kind, which deal only with the simplest and most general things, regardless of whether they really exist in nature or not, contain something certain and indubitable. So he's essentially saying if they're more based on human error, human creation, then maybe we shouldn't fully trust them. Whereas things like math, right, he's saying those are more undoubtable, right? They're more of nature, and we're kind of just discovering them. Again, this is Descartes' system, his understanding of science and mathematics at the time. But he's saying we can't always trust these certain fields of medicine. And the third and final thing that we should call into doubt, or should not fully trust all the time, are our opinions and previous assumptions. And he goes on to explain this as well. I will suppose, therefore, that not God, who is supremely good and the source of truth, but rather some malicious demon of the utmost power and cunning, has employed all his energies in order to deceive me. I shall think that the sky, the air, the earth, colors, shapes, sounds, and all external things are merely the delusions of dreams which he has decided to ensnare my judgment. I shall consider myself as not having hands or eyes or flesh or blood or senses, but as falsely believing that I have all these things. I shall stubbornly and firmly persist in this meditation. So here Descartes comes up with this thought experiment of sorts where, God as being the supremely good being would never deceive him. But now he's just going to assume, this is a new assumption. He said you couldn't trust your previous assumptions. This is a new assumption, where maybe he's being deceived through and through by some malicious demon in his mind. So maybe he really can't trust anything that maybe he thought he could trust before, right? Things that he thought came from God. So this is really going to set up his thought experiment here from the first meditation, and we're going to see this theme continue into the second meditation and beyond. But for now, I hope this helps.